Keeping on the pop punk vibes, 5 Seconds of Summer's debut album and also self-titled album was another album that I played when I needed to be awake. I needed some energy. I needed something that would dilate my eyes, whatever you want to call it. But this was such a fun album. This is definitely, you could tell 5 Seconds of Summer got their influences from like Fall Out Boy and stuff like that. But this is such a fun teen pop punk kind of album. 5 Seconds of Summer is an Australian group, I believe. I think they're all from Australia. I heard about them through One Direction, which we'll get to One Direction later. But I heard about them because they were the opening to one of One Direction's concerts. And I mean, they found their audience right there. Like, they played and I was like, yes, this is exactly my vibe, because pop punk kind of died down some, or it wasn't the same as when, like, you know, the 2000s were and Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy were, you know, hot and popping. So it kind of fell, at least to me, it kind of fell. But when this came out, listen, I was here for it. It gave me just what I wanted in that album. The singles off of this one was She Looks So Perfect, Don't Stop, Amnesia, and I think Good Girls. I don't know if they had all 4 of them. I feel like some of them were released in like the UK or in the United States differently than in Australia, differently than, you know, all together. But all of them were, I believe, singles because they all had music videos. She Looks So Perfect was definitely the song that kind of got them out there, because that one was, like I said, just pop punk at its finest. Now, my favorite songs off of this album is Mrs. All American and End Up Here. Now, Mrs. All American is a great song because the drums and the guitars and it's just all of it, the production of it is just fantastic. It just kind of makes you, well, I don't know about you, but it makes me, you know, filled with energy and joy and laughter. To me, it embodies pop punk so well. End Up Here is a great song that I think is funny because he's kind of talking about how, like, he met some girl and he's like, how did we end up dating? Because we are not complete opposites, but like, you like this thing and I like this thing, and you know, I'm kind of a nobody, but you kind of popular. So how did we end up here? But you know what? I ain't complaining, which I think is really cute. I love all the singles. Obviously I love the whole entire song. I don't think, yeah, there's no song on here that I skip or anything. Overall, it's a great pop punk, at least like a modern day pop punk. So if you want to listen to them, it's great. They've been on the radio recently with their like newer albums. I haven't caught up with most of their new stuff, but I think they're still really good. Speaking of One Direction, One Direction's 4 is another one of a classic in my CD collection. You don't know me, hi, I'm Sabrina. I love One Direction. Like, I don't care what nobody says. One Direction is the boy band of my time, I guess. You know, there was like Mindless Behavior and all them other people, but like, as we were talking about global phenomenon boy bands, One Direction is mine. This is their 4th studio album, hence the name 4, because they're clever. But funny enough, this is not one of my favorite One Direction albums. Granted, I love all of the albums, but it's not my favorite of favorite One Direction albums. I have my favorite of favorites on my iTunes, so I never saw the purpose, at least at the time, I never saw the purpose of buying like the physical CD, because I have the whole album plus like deluxe tracks and all that on my iTunes, so essentially it gives me the same kind of vibe, but not really. Anyways, this was before iTunes became Apple Music and all the songs in your iTunes were songs that you bought. That was in there, so I didn't see the purpose of buying the full physical CD because, you know, at the time I was a college student, I was broke and didn't always have all that money. 4, it's not my favorite of them, however, still a freaking great album. Now, along the time of the vinyl resurgence, they decided to make 4 a vinyl, so I also have this on vinyl, which is, it sounds beautiful on vinyl. I mean, most things sound beautiful on vinyl because vinyl is a unique way of playing things, at least nowadays. Nowadays, it's a unique way of hearing music. This is one of the albums, as One Direction grew, they wrote more and more original songs. So like this one is one of the more sentiment ones, since this was, sadly, this was the last album that they were OT5, meaning all members were still here. So Made in the AM, which is their last album, does not have Zayn, which is tragic. So this is kind of one of the reasons why I have 4, because it's kind of like a relic in the fact that this is the last time they were all together on like a CD, at least for now. Let's pray for a reunion. Singles off of this one were Steal My Girl and Night Changes. Steal My Girl, I like, don't really love. Night Changes, I believe, was one of the, I think was the more popular of the two, singles wise. But it was, both of them are great. My favorite songs off the album is a song called Fireproof and a song called Fool's Gold. Both of them are wonderful. They showcase all of their talents, at least like singing abilities and stuff. They all just sound great. It's more of a ballad than like some of their like poppier songs. Now I have a favorite of this album that is not on this physical CD because this is not the deluxe version. And it's a song called Change Your Ticket. That's a great song. That's just a song that says like, it's just like a fun song that's kind of like, hey, I know you're leaving me right now because you gotta go fly back to, you know, fly back home, but how about we stay in bed and you change your ticket and you don't leave me? But in like a nice little pop version, and it's great. Truthfully, I should have every single one of One Direction albums on a CD, like on a physical CD. However, I don't really want to. I think that's just a lot for my car. So I'm gonna stick with having 4. And then if I want to listen to all of them, all of their songs ever made, I'll just listen to my One Direction, you know, artist playlist. Keeping on the train of One Direction, but veering off slightly because now they are no longer together and they all have their solo careers. We have Harry Styles' self-titled debut solo album, Harry Styles. Now, being completely frank, when One Direction split, I did not think that Harry's album would be the only album of the solos that I have in my car. But this album, when I tell you that thing surprised me, granted I know how talented Harry is, but it surprised me with how much I love this album. It's so good. He had 2 singles off of the album, which was Sign of the Times and Kiwi. Now, Sign of the Times was definitely the song that kind of got him like, oh. Like that was the single that made everybody look and stop and stare at him, at least musically. My favorite songs, 2 of them are more of the ballad, which is what I usually tend to like more. That's Two Ghosts and Sweet Creature. Both of them are beautiful, absolutely stunning. And then I have a third favorite song, which is called Woman. Now Woman, now that's a rock song. Like that one's a song that like I imagine somebody's dad who loves rock music would be like, you know what? Harry did something there. He did like such a good job of melding some of like the older like Brit pop rock times and some of the older rock things with also still keeping with some of like the ballads and more acoustic things. And he just sounds fantastic on it. Like honestly, of all the albums that I tell you today, I feel like you should listen to Harry's album. Not because I'm a One Direction stan, but because I think it's really just that good. Now, if you don't like rock and roll or just, you know, rock in general, I feel like maybe you won't like it no matter what I say. However, if you sometimes like rock or you actually do like rock, I feel like you should give this album a listen because it's fantastic. But the next album is one of the exceptions of me buying it, but it's Khalid's Free Spirit. Now, I physically didn't go out and buy this myself. It was given to me when I bought his concert tickets, which technically I bought it because I bought the tickets which came with the CD. Whatever, if you want to go into logistics. But I'm so glad that they gave me this CD with his concert ticket because I love me some Khalid. I think he's fantastic. I think he sounds wonderful. And his first album, American Teen, I liked. I didn't love all of the songs, which is why I don't have American Teen as a CD. I didn't love all of the songs, but he has some great songs on that album. And when this album first came out, I knew I loved a good bit of it, but I like listened to it and I was like, oh, this is a good album. And then I kind of just, I don't know, I listened to a lot of music, so I kind of just forgot about it. But then when I found out he was going on tour, obviously me and my best friend were like, we gotta go. And leading up to the tour, I was listening to the album more and more. And I was like, wow, I forgot how great this album was. And then plus he was singing it live to me. I mean, like, it was just beautiful. Before this album officially came out, and it was just the singles that were out, which were Talk and Better. Listen, I could not stop playing Talk and Better. Those were my songs for a while. Those are still my songs. I still play them on repeat constantly. But they were just so good to me. Like, you know, it brought upon a new, better Khalid than from like American Teen, because obviously, you know, he gets older and you get better at your craft. But it was just great bops, absolutely stunning bops. And I believe Right Back was his third single. Don't quote me on that, but I think that one and his remix with A Boogie with a Hoodie was his like third single that was kind of like, hey, remember my album kind of thing. I listened to Talking Better. I was like, wow, this is great. This album, to this day, I still think those two are some of the best songs out of the album. Listening to the full album like regularly now I have a greater appreciation to some of the other songs, because I'm listening to some of the other songs more than just Talking Better, because those are my songs. My favorites besides Talking Better is a song called Bluffin' and a song called Heaven. Now Bluffin' is just it's just a vibe. Like, it's great. But Heaven, listen, Heaven lyrically is wonderful, message wise is wonderful, singing wise he does such a good job. Like, I always liked Heaven, but hearing it live I was near tears because it was just so good. Like, he just sounds wonderful. And I don't know if you never listened to Heaven, or maybe if you don't feel like looking up the lyrics, but essentially he's like, hey Heaven, you got, you know, any room up there for me, because the earth is not really offering me nothing that I want. So it's a sad song because he's essentially kind of suicidal in a way. Maybe not so fully suicidal, but he's contemplating his death. It's a sad song because, you know, whenever he wrote it, he was in a place where he felt like he no longer wanted to live, which is depressing and sad. But sometimes that creates great music, which Heaven is. And he kind of says, like, you know, I'm not really vibing down here anymore. Heaven, you got anything to offer me? Can I slide up in there? Because I'm not feeling it no more. And it's, you gotta listen to the actual song and, you know, look at the actual lyrics. But I think it's a great song. I think it's very meaningful and nice. And he said in the concert how so much people told him how much that song meant to them because they were also feeling that way. And it's just, it just makes me feel good. But overall, it's a great album. It has a lot of, like, at the time you could tell he was really going through some things. So some of the lyrics are more like, Khalid, you all right? But he says it in such a beautiful way. He sings it in such a beautiful way. And, you know, the whole production of the album is just great. So I think you should listen to it. Second to last album is Tori Kelly's debut album. It's called Unbreakable Smile. This was, if you don't know who Tori Kelly is, she's a Puerto Rican and Black, I think, woman who's very religious. So some elements of this album will have like sprinkles of religion and God. Most of it is just like a R&B vibe and kind of stuff. Like I said, there's just little sprinkles of God kind of into it, which I'm not opposed to. I like that. The singles to this album were Unbreakable Smile, which is the title track for the album, and then it was also Should Have Been Us. Both of them, I mean, I'm pretty sure I was still back in college when this album released or when she was promoting it. or something, but I played in one of my music business classes, and my music business professor was like, wow, this girl can sing. And she sure can. She absolutely can. If you don't listen to her for, you know, her lyrical quality and whatever, but listen to them vocals this child be hitting, because she be hitting them. You don't even gotta listen to the actual song. Listen to her live. She's another person I saw live in person. Them vocals is really true. She's not hiding behind nothing. She's not letting nobody, you know, alter her voice, make it seem like she could hit them notes. No, she's hitting them notes. My favorites off this album is a song called Anyways. This features a rapping Tori, as I like to say. It's just more, you know, singer with the flow, as Ed likes to say. It's just more of that. I think it's great. She does a really good job. She's not like struggling to sound like she's kind of rapping or, you know, anything. It also really gives me some like late 90s, early 2000s kind of vibe. Just the whole feeling of it just gives me that kind of energy. And then she has a song with Ed Sheeran called I Was Made for Loving You. That one's, you can tell the Ed influence to it because obviously he's on the song, but I believe she said she loves Ed Sheeran, so obviously it gets lots of Ed in it. But it's just such a great like ballad and acoustic where it's just somebody playing a guitar and them singing, and it's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Overall, this album is like my Ariana album. Is one of them albums I go to if I want to sing. I can't sing, granted, but if I want to belt out some vocals in my car, this is the album I'm going to play, because it's just, she belts out things so wonderfully and you just want to belt along with her, so I do. This album, though, as much as I love it, does have two songs that I sometimes will skip, is I just, like I said, I gotta be in the mood for those songs. One of them is called Expensive, which I think is a good song, but you know, sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. And then there's another song called California Love. That one has LL Cool J in it. I mean, he's fine. The song's fine. It's just sometimes I don't feel like listening to LL Cool J because it fits weird in the context of the album. So sometimes I'll just be like, it is my guy, and just kind of do a little skip. But overall, full album is fantastic. I think you should give it a listen, or maybe just listen to some of Tori Kelly's vocals because she's great. Now, the last album I will be talking about is Last for a Reason, because it is my favorite. Out of all my albums that I have, out of all the people that I stan and whatever, it is my favorite album to listen to in my car, because it's just, it gives me a good mix of everything that I be needing sometimes. It be having songs that really be, you know, pumping up my energy. It has songs where I can really belt my heart out to. It's just songs, it has songs that I can just, you know, kind of vibe to and not pay attention to much. Now this, almost spoiled it for you. This album, my last and most favoriteest album, is Anti or however by Rihanna. Listen, I don't know if you know, I love me some Rihanna. She's another one of my like up there people that I just kind of stan. This is her 8th studio album. Girl's been making music for ages, but this by far is my favorite Rihanna album. Like, she really did the dang thing when she made this album. All her other albums, fantastic, great, but this album is levels above the rest. Like, it's just so good. So this album, I believe, had like 4 singles. All of them, I think there's 4 singles because there's 4 music, or they all have music videos. And then you also all heard them on the radio. So the most popular of them singles was obviously Work and Love on the Brain. Both were the songs of the album, because Work, you know, there was that whole phenomenon where everybody was trying to sound like Rihanna and do the whole dance hall Jamaican accent, whatever. And the whole phenomenon, people are like, she's not saying words, whatever. But that was one of the top songs. Love on the Brain. We're not talking about Love on the Brain yet because I need to have a whole section about that. But that was one of the popular ones too. And then Needed Me and Kiss It Better were also, I think, singles, but those weren't as popular as the other two, I believe, but they were still obviously played on the radio and everyone knew those songs. When it comes to my all-time favorites off the album, like I said, I love every single song on this album. This album is top to bottom fantastic, but my favorites is Love on the Brain, Higher, and Close to You. Now, she has some like bops on there, but all of her slow songs, not all of them, them 3 slow songs that I just named was my favorite, really be hitting. So Love on the Brain is just a great, like, let me sing my heart out to you kind of song. Despite what you think about Rihanna's vocal talent, I don't care. That song is magnificent. Now Close to You is also such a more subdued, like more sentimental Rihanna, so that one I think is really great. But my favorite song on the album is Higher. I've listened to Higher, I've played it on repeat an indescribable amount of time. Like, every time I listen to this album, I have to play Higher at least 2 to 3 times. It's the shortest song, I feel like, on the album, because I think it's only like 2 minutes and some change, or maybe even max 2 minutes, but it's just great. It's just, when you really is in your feelings and you just need to express it somehow, that's a song to listen to. There's something about Higher. I don't know if she was fresh off a breakup, fresh in love. I don't know what was going on in her mental when she was singing the song. I don't know who created the song. I should probably know that, but regardless, whoever was writing the song was obviously in some feels. And when Rihanna was singing the song, she was obviously in some feels, because you can feel the emotion that is palpable through her singing. Like, I've never been in the heartbreak or whatever the amount of love she was in when she was writing this song, but when I tell you I can emote that much amount of, you know, feeling into that song when I sing it, I be feeling like I know exactly what she went through. I feel like I was her whenever she, you know, sang this song, or whoever wrote this song. It's that good, at least to me, as I should say. But she just belts it and like gives it her complete all, 110%. And I can't imagine someone saying they don't like this song. I guess I can, but like, are you sure? Do you maybe need to listen to it a couple more times? Because this song is great. If you listen to any song of the albums I gave you, listen to Higher. Listen to Higher, because she did the dang thing. I mean, it's a short song, so I can understand why she probably didn't make it a single. And I also like the fact that it's not a single, because it's like a nice surprise in the album. But that's something, this is one of them songs that she should have been broadcasting everywhere. That should have been on every radio station, should have had a billboard, I mean, everything. Overall, like I said, this album, I want to see if I can get a vinyl of this album. Hopefully they have vinyls of it, but this album is so fantastic. Absolute genius work of art, and definitely my most played and most listened to album to date. And that's on period. I have one more CD that's technically not in my car, but it is a part of my CD collection because I got it when I was an intern at the radio station in my college. And they were like, well, we can't play these on the radio because they're all like a minute, 60 seconds, 50 seconds. They're all real short songs, so we can't technically play this on the radio. However, they sent it to us and we got to give it to somebody. So I was like, I'll gladly take it. Now this album, if you want to call it an album, is the Bob's Burgers music album. Now I know you're probably like, Sabrina, why do you even have that? Now, if you don't know, or if you've never seen Bob's Burgers, that show is hilarious. I mean, top-notch comedy, like, at least in my opinion. It's such great comedy. And they have a variety of songs that be playing, and they also have songs that they play with the credits. Sometimes people just be singing in that show. I mean, it's a weird show. It's a great show, but weird. This features a whole bunch of songs that they played or sang or featured in their outro that's been on Bob's Burgers since this came out. Bob's Burgers is still going, I believe, so this doesn't have all of their songs, but it does have 107 songs onto it. And I kept it one because I love Bob's Burgers and because I think all their songs are weird, but this is just physically such a beautiful like CD to have, or like CD container or whatever, CD case, excuse me. And it's just, it's great. It has the Bob's Burgers street, and then like on the back and this is the inner fold, but it has all the most of the characters. And then there's 2 CDs in here because there's 107 songs. So it has all the song titles, which features wonderful songs like Taffy Butt and Getting Out of PE and Not Bad for Having 3 Kids. And there's a song called I Want Some Burgers and Fries. There's a song called Red Balloons, Do the Dirty Pigeon, Two Butt Goat, Butt Phone. I mean, you could tell from these lyrics that this album is weird. But yeah, this is an album I don't play or actually, you know, put in my car. This is just something I have in my room because, you know, I love it. It's one of a kind. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna cherish that forever. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for enduring my whole entire CD collection, because there is surely a lot, and sometimes I talk too much and I talk too fast and I have a lot to say sometimes. So I appreciate you watching. Let me know if some of these albums are also your favorite, or if you like some of these artists, or if you like some of the songs that are featured on some of these albums. Let me know if you have CDs in your car and what CDs you have there, and what's, you know, let me know all of the tea, please. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next Sabrina Talks video. Bye.